Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the October 6th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Carly Swain. I'll tell you why the class of 2009 has bailout on the brain.
It's time for midterms, but some students are studying hard for a different type of exam.
In sports, the fans are going crazy over the Tar Heels in the top 25. In football,
Weathercaster John Boyer is here with your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that plus the joys and trials of being a Carolina mascot. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Bethany Tuggle.
And I'm Gervais Hagerty. Thanks for joining us. With Wall Street on a roller coaster ride, many college seniors are beginning to worry about how the real world will receive them once they graduate. Carly Swain joins us in the studio now. Carly, it sounds like the days after graduation are weighing heavily on the minds of the class of 2009.
That's true, Gervais. Post-graduation life is daunting enough, but with bank buyouts and government bailouts, the average college senior is looking ahead to a very uncertain job market.
Tony Stroud is a senior at UNC Chapel Hill who just can't get away from the theater.
Does feel comfortable.
But all nostalgia aside, Tony's concerned about what's happening after graduation.
I'll be interested to see if decline or fall of our economy necessarily affects potentially the career I'm looking to go into.
That's the same sentiment many college seniors are expressing. With the economic tailspin we're seeing right now, what will come of the career we've been studying for?
To know that the adult world that you're going into is in just as much kind of turmoil and chaos as kind of what's going on up here right now.
Marcia Harris at University Career Services says there's a few key things that seniors can still do during their final months to prepare for the job market.
Get a resume together and have it reviewed by an expert. The expert is not their parents, okay?
Tony also plans to seek advice from his mentors.
Just basically I'll be sitting down calmly and looking them in the eye and saying, what do I do when I graduate? So I'm very much ready for change of scenery, a new set of responsibilities.
I'm a believer in people going with their passion while they're young and then really giving it a try, because someone's going to be the next Jack Nicholson and maybe he'll be it.
Anything is possible.
And Tony still has such a bright outlook regardless of the economic ups and downs.
It certainly appears that way. Carly, did representatives from Career Services have any other tips for seniors?
They did, Gervais. Ms. Harris mentioned that one thing that we can do is when you talk to your mentor, ask them for the name of a couple more contacts, so that way you can build your personal network.
Carly Swain reporting from the studio. Thanks, Carly.
In a few months, the One Card Plus will no longer be a Wachovia bank card. Citigroup and Wells Fargo both want to take over Wachovia. A merger would prevent Wachovia from going bankrupt. Citigroup had an agreement in principle to buy Wachovia's banking operations, but Wells Fargo jumped in and offered to buy all of Wachovia. According to One Card officials, Wachovia's sale won't affect the level of service you get. They say Wells Fargo is a better choice as far as Carolina is concerned because Wells Fargo already has a campus card program. Interest rates on loans for North Carolina college students are up from 4.5% to 5.75%. The current economic downturn could affect more than 10,000 undergraduates at UNC. But UNC is in much better shape than other institutions because the College Foundation of North Carolina guarantees non-need-based student loans for UNC students. Jameson Reiser plans to enroll for a 9th semester. He says these loans make things easier for him.
I have to pay out-of-state tuition, obviously, so it helps me pay a little bit more, and it pays for housing, and just helps me go to Carolina, the place I want to be.
According to UNC officials, the new bailout plan will take a few months to fully affect credit for student loans.
It's that time of year again. That's right, midterm season. But while many of us are studying hard for classes, others are now studying harder to become U.S. citizens. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Office now requires prospective citizens to pass a new, more difficult test. The new exam, which began last week, includes more history and conceptual questions, forcing immigrants to study a little harder to obtain citizenship. But not everyone agrees with the new testing method.
I have international friends right now going through some trouble of getting into the country, becoming U.S. citizens, and I wouldn't want to see those policies become any harder for them because a lot of them have legit reasons for trying to get in.
To take the test yourself, go to our website, carolinaweek.org.
UNC winning an MTV award? It could happen thanks to student-run radio station WXYC.
Listening to the lunch hour jams on WXYC Chapel Hill.
For the first time, MTV will honor student-run stations that give airtime to emerging artists. UNC's program will be competing against 19 other campus stations. On WXYC, DJs take turns playing music 24 hours a day. Every Tuesday, Stephanie Russ hosts a 2-hour show. She believes the station's eclectic playlist will help WXYC win the award.
We're really dedicated to all genres and to giving airplay to a lot of artists that I've never heard on any other station, let alone, a student-run radio station.
You can vote for the best campus radio station on MTVU's website. The award ceremony will take place in November in New York. We might be hearing a fellow Tar Heel on the radio soon. UNC senior Andrew Rooney has performed as a hip-hop artist on campus for 3 years. Recently, Rooney competed in September Showdown, a musical showcase hosted by campus label Vinyl Records. 6 bands took the stage and competed for a spot on the label. Vinyl Records chose Lafcadio, Lake Inferior, and Rooney as the artists to record and promote this year. Rooney is excited to have the label's support.
Marketing me, the image stuff, the promotion, the getting the venues, all those things that I'm not very good at, they'll just be a tremendous help to me.
Vinyl Records President Al Mask encouraged students to vote for their favorite artists online. The label announced the winners in an internet blog.
Each fall, NC Big Sweep sponsors a waterway cleanup in which people in more than 100 counties remove litter. After receiving maps, each group headed out in a different direction. For senior Patty Chong's group, the morning included garbage tossing, incredible climbing, and long-distance walking. All the walkers did their best to clean up things like this, removing eyesores along Umstead Drive. Chong says events like this make people realize where trash too often ends up.
They don't think about where it goes. It's out of sight, out of mind, and they don't realize that this has a direct impact to them because they don't see it.
At noon, students removed the trash they picked up from buggies and piled it beside the fence for pickup. Well, we college students rarely think about bad things happening.
But when they do, how do we deal with them? One young woman's inspiring story next.
No matter where you live, life in the ocean depends on you. Do your part to help protect it. Recycle and dispose of your trash properly. To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org.
The fish at Lake Crabtree and Briar Creek contain PCB chemicals that are very dangerous to your health. So catch and release every time you fish. For more information, call 919-707-5900 or check the webpage.
It's never easy to deal with a chronic illness, but it's especially tough when you're young. Christina Montserrat explains how one college student found inspiration through her illness.
Jenny Leshny is a composer, a pianist, and a college sophomore who, like others her age, should have a healthy future ahead of her. But she doesn't.
I was really scared, and but the doctor said, it may not be that bad. It may just be mild, but right now it's been pretty stable.
A year and a half ago, doctors diagnosed the 20-year-old Raleigh native with 3 separate life-threatening ailments. One attacks her skin and organs. Another attacks the bones and muscles, possibly disfiguring the left side of her face. And the other brings on debilitating muscle pain.
Every time that I was awake, I felt like somebody was taking a metal bat to my forehead 1,000 times a minute.
Leshni says her inspiration in the face of pain and struggle came in the form of a get-well card.
From my best friend Melanie's mom. She passed away 3 months ago, and it says love is the best medicine, and it really is.
Kaylee Miller is Leshni's best friend. She says Leshni inspires almost everyone she meets.
She goes through day to day being incredibly happy about her life, and we could only be so fortunate, you know.
Leshni finds time to volunteer and do her vital workouts to keep her body and muscles in shape. She's very optimistic about an uncertain future.
My body may be weak, but my soul is strong with purpose and love.
That's an attitude we can all learn from. In Raleigh, I'm Christina Montserrat, Carolina Week.
Leshni says she must stay active and positive because her health depends on it, and because she wants to show people there are things to celebrate despite her illness. Well, we all want to be healthy and avoid any serious health problems, but many women don't have regular mammograms or even talk to their doctors about breast cancer because it can be an uncomfortable topic. Sometimes even thinking about self-examinations can make you blush. But there's a way to get information in the privacy of your own home with an online breast cancer risk assessment tool. The questions women answer on the site based on the dominant risk factors found in a screening trial, such as personal family history, age, and race. Researchers hope the ease of taking the test will encourage women to keep up with annual checkups. The test is reliable for women older than 35, so it's still best for women our age to get information face-to-face from medical professionals.
How do you know fall has officially arrived? Here's how. This is the face of West Franklin Street once a year. Folks young and old gathered Sunday at Festival, an afternoon festival sponsored by the town. Live music resounded from the front stage as some watched and others shopped. Festival featured paintings by local artists, creative clothing, and eye-popping pottery. This climbing wall attracted athletes in the area, while dessert stands nearby provided tasty afternoon treats. Church ceremonies don't usually involve animals, but the Duke Chapel lawn was teeming with all sorts of God's creatures on Sunday. Members of the Duke and Durham communities gathered for the 20th annual Blessings of Animals service. It honors St. Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of animals. The event included a performance by the Durham Children's Choir. A Duke Divinity student came up with the idea to promote the welfare of animals. Speakers shared personal accounts about the pleasures of pet ownership, and worship leaders blessed each animal individually.
And blessings that they bring us. We learn lessons from them, and it's just nice to be out here on a nice day with our furry companions.
We didn't spot a single ram getting a blessing from our rivals up the road. Now, what's up with that? Now we're joined by weathercaster John Boyer. John, you know a few students over at NC State, and they would definitely bless the rams, wouldn't they?
Or would they feed it to the wolf pack?
I don't know about that, but a wolf would be a lot harder to get under control than a ram. So what I do know about is we have some changes coming in the weather, maybe a little cooler. We'll talk about it after the break.
Thanks. So we can do a little chit chat.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's going to be a lot difficult to hold down. I mean, you think it's got that. Okay.
Honey?
Okay. That was good.
The credit fairy doesn't exist.
What?
It's make-believe. Nobody left anything under your pillow.
If there's no credit fairy, then we'll make our credit score go up.
We will. By doing things like paying our bills on time.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
Pants, pants, pants. I am folding the pants. The
pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. They go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
And welcome back to Carolina Week. It's time to take a look at your forecast. I'm John Boyer. The big news is that it was a little warm today, but it'll be cooling down starting tomorrow and lasting through the rest of the week. It's also going to be clear for the next 2 days, but we'll have some rain moving in on Thursday and Friday. We'll talk about all that in a minute. Let's start out by taking a look at the North Carolina satellite and radar. You see it's largely clear over most of the state, hardly any even clouds to speak of. We have to zoom out to the national satellite and radar to find where all the clouds and rain are. We start out by noticing that there's a little area of cloudiness stretching from the Great Lakes all the way through to New York. Doesn't have a lot of rain associated with it, but it'll be heading down in our direction starting tonight, and there's cold air behind it bringing our colder temperatures. There's also a storm system in the middle part of the country, and that's also slowly working its way east. It'll be affecting our weather in the latter half of the week. The surface map just confirms this. It shows that area of high pressure mostly controlling the east coast. With the gradual eastward motion of the low, we take that in a little bit closer to get some detail. We see a cold front. There it is, about to enter the triangle on its way south overnight. That has colder air behind it, and so then when we advance to tomorrow, we see that that cold front has largely passed. Our flow is now coming off the ocean, so the air will be a little chillier, a little more moderate for this time of year in the lower 70s. The one little bit of news there is in the tropics. It's getting a little quieter because it is October. There's Tropical Depression 13 in the southern Gulf of Mexico, and if it does develop overnight, it would become Marco. But you see it's headed right into western Mexico, so it's probably not going to be a big deal for anybody. Otherwise, the tropical Atlantic is looking very quiet. And so, forecast for tonight in the triangle, temperatures 54 in Chapel Hill, 55 in Raleigh. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be 71 in Chapel Hill and 72 in Raleigh. Your 4-day forecast for Chapel Hill and the Triangle shows beautiful temperatures starting tomorrow, 71, 74 degrees on Wednesday, partly cloudy both days. We have a chance for rain showers coming in on both Thursday and Friday, about 50%, so it'll be hit and miss. Temperatures should stay where they are, though, about 69 on Thursday, 73 on Friday, and morning lows should be in the 50s.
All right, John, well, I'm looking to the little bit cooler temperatures. It's been pretty hot these past couple of days. It has been,
but it will become more average for this time of year.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Newspapers, television, radio, and the internet are all ways students can get their news, but which is the most popular among college kids? Newspapers have always been a reliable source for news, and television broadcasts give students up-to-date information with a visual element. Internet sites such as CNN.com are a quick and popular way of getting news when you want it. So where are the masses at UNC getting their news?
I'm not a huge news junkie, but I appreciate my New York Times.
I usually get most of my news from the internet. I don't have a TV in my room, so usually internet, I'll go to CNN, Time, Newsweek, that kind of stuff.
Well, I mostly get my news from online sources like CNN.com, but when I read the paper, it's usually the Daily Tar Heel.
Well, I know where all intelligent people get their news, Carolina Week.
That's right. And now Erin Summers joins us with some news in sports. Erin?
That's right, we have a lot of news for the football team. The Heels are running to the top of the football hierarchy. Carolina's big game against Connecticut, next in sports.
Come on. What do you got there, Yogi? Huh? What have you found? What do you got, little fella? Drop it. Looks like someone's butt. Man, they probably lost it playing with their kids. Hey, leave it. Come on. Come on.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, a 9-iron, the net. Even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Cam Sexton's first full game this season at quarterback ended the way any former reserve would have dreamed. Carolina dominated in all 3 phases of the game on Saturday, humiliating a top 25 Connecticut team. Jason Kahn has the highlights.
The fans were thirsty for more Cam Sexton on Saturday as he opposed another first-timer at quarterback, Connecticut's Zach Frazier. Sexton looked like he'd been starting since day one, while Frazier was quite uncomfortable around Carolina's defense.
I thought that Cam, I thought he did an outstanding job of just managing the game.
Objective number 2, contain running back Donald Brown. That wasn't a problem.
We were really concerned about making sure that we didn't give up big runs, throughout the course of the game.
Ryan Houston commenced the touchdown party with a short run for the 10-3 lead, and then the special teams unit contributed points. The third of Bruce Carter's unprecedented 3 blocked punts in the game put some bang in the Heels' attack, as Matt Merletti pounced on the ball in the end zone.
Some of the best special teams performance, especially on punt block, that I've seen ever in my entire life.
With the Heels holding a 17-3 lead and the crowd very much into the game, Sean Drawn brought the dance moves with this 39-yard TD.
Everybody rallied behind me, just told me to do my thing, just go in there and do what I've been doing.
And his moves were so good, the lights went out. But the fans stayed, breaking out dances of their own during the delay. The game resumed with the lights shining on the defense. Credit a return touchdown interception from Marvin Austin?
That's basically a whole lot of dreaming for years. I've been dreaming about that for years.
Sexton never left the spotlight, hitting Akeem Nicks for another TD, a big celebration, and a 38-12 victory. Sexton silences the doubters, and the Heels are now considered legit.
They're willing to look at themselves in the mirror after each ball game and say, okay, guys, where do we gotta try to get better for the next week?
We'll find that out when the Heels take the field Saturday against Notre Dame. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jason Kahn, Carolina Week Sports.
The Heels are ranked 22nd in this week's AP poll. The quest for the Carlisle Cup continued this weekend, starting with the number 2 ranked women's soccer team taking on Duke in Durham. Both teams were ready at Koshkonong Stadium, where the band and the crowd made for a hostile environment for the Heels. The team tried to quiet the crowd early with this rebound goal from freshman Courtney Jones. The rival teams played extremely physically before junior Casey Noguera gave the Heels a 2-0 lead with this goal that amazed even her teammates. Noguera would add a second goal late to lead Carolina to a 3-0 win. Coach Anson Dorrance is pleased, but knows how close the game really was.
I don't think the margin indicates how close Duke was, because I thought there were moments when they were riding us, and I want to tip my hat to Robbie Church and his tough kids. I thought they played us a great game.
The volleyball team tried to keep their winning streak going against Duke this weekend. Cameron Indoor Stadium roared Friday night. It was difficult to tell which glimpses of good play the crowd was cheering for, like this kill by UNC's Susan Haydel, or this block by Carolina's Courtney Johnston. But they couldn't keep the Heels alive as they fell to the Devils 3-1. This is Carolina's 5th straight loss in the volleyball series against Duke. Coach Joe Segula says the team is better than their play in this match.
It was a match where you felt like it was right within your hands, and all you had to do was hold on, and yet we never could do it. We found so many ways to kind of give it back, and I was just disappointed in our execution and some little things.
In field hockey, number 4 Carolina battled number 3 Wake Forest this weekend at Henry Stadium. Carolina Week's Kate Howard has the scoop.
It was a rough game, but the Heels expected nothing less playing their second biggest rival behind Duke. Somehow, the Heels still managed to make it look flawless. Composure, vision, speed, 30-yard carries, and beautifully executed goals. Danielle Forward scored the Heels' 4th goal in the 4-3 win against the Deacons. Here it is. It's called Moneybags.
I kind of freaked out because it hasn't worked once in practice, and we've been saving it up for Wake, and it worked, so guess I'm just really lucky.
Back in the nation's top 3, the Heels will be without 3 starters next week: Elizabeth Drazdowski, Riley Foster, and Jackie Kinser.
3 junior national team players will be in Mexico gaining more valuable experience, and they also will come back to us better. So for me, it's always a win-win when we have this kind of situation.
The Heels hope that kind of experience will lead them to a second straight national championship. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kate Howard, Carolina Week Sports.
The men's soccer team is on a hot streak. The Heels were looking for their 4th straight win Friday night against Virginia. It was a physical game from the start. The officials called a total of 43 fouls in the match. The Heels had several scoring opportunities in the first half, but couldn't cash in and went into halftime tied at 0. Late in the second half, with the score still tied, here's Eddie Ababio receiving his 2nd yellow card for rough play and had to leave the game. After a foul by Carolina goalie Jacob Wesco, Virginia converted on the penalty kick to give the Cavs the 1-0 victory. The UNC swim team held its annual blue-white swim meet Friday. Coaches split the swimmers into 2 teams to race one another in a friendly exhibition competition. Many of the races came down to the wire, with the onlookers cheering on speedy swimmers. During their meet, the divers practiced all sorts of tricks. The last relay of the day was the deciding factor, as the white team went home with bragging rights. Well, it's really good to see that our swimmers are having fierce competition against each other already.
Yeah, well, let's keep hope that our football teams keep them playing fierce.
I love to see them win.
Definitely. Well, everyone loves when you do this job.
But being the face of UNC athletics isn't all fun and games. Coming up, we'll show you a different side of UNC's mascot, Ramses.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
You've seen him at football games, dancing around. You've seen him cheering on the crowd. You've probably even taken a picture with him.
But have you ever met the guy inside the Ramses costume? Well, there are 4 guys actually, and Rebecca Hilton introduces us to one of them, Tyler Treadaway.
Tyler is a senior at UNC, and this is his 3rd year as Ramses, UNC's mascot. Tyler decided to try out to be Ramses after watching the mascot at a football game.
I saw Ramses run the team out of the tunnel or whatever, and I remember leaning over to my friend and saying, I want to do that. That looks cool.
Tyler officially became one of the guys who play Ramses the summer before his sophomore year. Although he loves being the mascot, it can be a lot of work.
So there's about 40 million pieces you have to put on this suit. And so it's just a sauna in there, it really is. In about 2 minutes in the suit, you're out of breath. And you never catch your breath until you take that head off and the suit off.
Despite the heat and exhaustion, Tyler loves being in the suit and interacting with the fans. But his favorite moment as Ramses wasn't him cheering on the crowd, it was the football team cheering him on.
They came up to me and started slapping hands and getting me pumped up yeah, Ramses, let's do it. And it made me feel really cool because I've always known that I cheered fans up, but I didn't know that it meant something to the players.
In May, Tyler will graduate and he will have to give up his role as Ramses.
I'm gonna be glad to kind of give Ramses away and have a little more time. But then, if I ever go back to a football game, I'm gonna, wow, I wish I could be back in that suit.
Tyler isn't sure what his final gig as Ramses will be, but he does have some thoughts.
Hopefully it's a national championship in basketball, but who knows.
Until then, you can watch for Tyler in the stands, but you might not know it's him. In Chapel Hill, I'm Rebecca Hilton, Carolina Week.
Well, I don't think that I could ever be Ramses. It's way too constricting, I think.
I don't know, but it sure looks like it could be fun. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.
There's only 2 of us on here, so you look at me, Beth.